And now we have parallel session. This is the room number 1. Room 1, we will have 8 presenters. And this session, we will have 2 separated sessions, session 1.1 and session 1.2. And I would like to know the presenters. I'm Budi Dermawan from ITB. And sorry. Is there Aditya Firman Ihsan is here?
Yes, I'm here.
Eli Zulkatri?
Yes, sir.
Miss Eriska Agustin?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Miss Jennifer Priscilia Surya Jaya?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Right. We will have 4 presenters here, and after the presenter number 4, we will have the question and answer session. So the next subsession, session 1.2, we will have Fawaz Fakhrurozi here.
I'm here, sir.
Okay. Nisa Susilawati? Not yet. El Malki?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Prihantini Titin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, we go to the first presenter. Sorry. Is Muhammad El Maki is here? No?
Yes, I am here, sir.
Oh, okay. Right. You, because you have a tight schedule, I heard. You are the first presenter here. Please, it's yours. You have
okay,
7 minutes.
Okay, perfect. I am sharing my PPT. Is it clear for you, sir?
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mohammed El-Malki. I have a PhD in physics, mainly in the study of acoustics and physics of sound. Today I will start. Sorry, sir, I think you can hear me. So I would like to thank all the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity to present my work.
Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, this study deal with the propagation of acoustic waves through periodic structure formed by Helmholtz resonator with the case of the extended neck. This work was done in the Laboratory of Materials, Waves, Energy, Environment in the Mohammed I University at Morocco in collaboration with our partners there in Spain. Yeah, so let's move on to the second plan. Okay, so as for the plan, I will start by giving a general introduction of periodic structures. Then I will move on to the periodic structure. So periodic structures, sorry, sir, because for the interaction with the voices, I believe that you can hear me all right, okay? So periodic structure in general case.
Because you are in the airport, I know.
That's why exactly. So periodic structure in general case is the set of 2 elementary cells that repeats itself along an axis. So the main characteristics of these structures is the appearance, what we called the band gaps and the pass band. If you could move on to the second, yeah, the pass bands are mainly a region of frequencies where the acoustics of waves can be propagated, while the band gaps are a region of frequencies where the waves or the sound can be reflected. So can you Yes, as applications of the propagation of waves in periodic structures. Here we have, for example, that we can, for example, use it as Helmholtz resonator can be, for example, used as an acoustic wall that can absorb mainly the sound and the noise. So this is, for example, what we can say and find in usually in the the room of conference, for example. So the main objectives of this study is to study the noise reduction using periodic structure, then the exploitation of the characteristics of acoustic waves through periodic structures in the case of existing of effects, and then the identification of the effects of existing of defects inside the band gaps. Okay, can you move? Okay, so before starting this study, I may mention some hypotheses of simplification, mainly the one-dimensional cases at linear acoustics at low frequencies where the viscothermal phenomena are ignored. Okay, more. Okay, so our proposed structure is formed as I told you. It's Helmholtz resonator with extended neck, which is mainly in the cavity, as you can see, and the periodic structure is repeated itself. So the main objective here is to introduce a defective cell inside this kind of structure, mainly in the middle, but it's in form of two parallel closed resonators that are grafted in the middle of the structure. We can consider, for example, here in this study, like 11 cells where the cell number 6, for example, which is the middle, concluded to closed resonator. So for the experience, can you move? Can you move, madam? Okay, for the experience here mainly in Portugal, I am dealing with the acoustic sensors, like, for example, microphones. So we give the acoustic wave from this side, so via the speaker, and then by the data acquisitions and computer, we can analyze what can be from the other side, so to recuperate the transmission waves. So as results, can you move? Okay, for the results mainly, we started by the simulations and try to compare our results by those obtained by Kai in 2017 and others also. So you can just click to mention that we found exactly the same results that they found. This mainly why we are doing that is because before starting the experience, we need to compare our model, if you want, our programmation model simulation with those obtained by others. Then we will move on to the experience. Can you move, please? Try to click, move, right? This is, as you can see, a small difference between the frequencies, but maybe it's related to our programmation simulation results. The same as you can see here for the numerical results, it's compared with the Salamet of 2003. It gives almost the same simulation results. This here, our results are in form and simulations, but Salamet here in his work done experience. So we are based mainly our study by those parameters of the geometry of the Helmholtz resonator with extended neck for this experience, which I am doing basically in Portugal. Can you move on to mention that? The exact, okay, you can see that the frequencies are the same. So here I can show you for the figure 1 is the figure of 11 cells containing no defects. So this is the perfect case of periodic structure. As you can see, there is 100% of transmission in the pass bands, while there is 0 frequencies in the middle, which is the band gaps. This is mainly our objective, how to exploit this band gap to obtain or to reduce sound. As you can see, the second passband is from the other side. So basically, when we are introducing a defect inside this kind of structure, we can see that there is some appearance of localized modes inside the band gaps, which is mainly our work. So we are making this structure play the role of acoustic filter that can filter some frequencies. At the same time, by playing with the geometry of the defect, we are able to move or transmit or obtain some localized modes inside the band gaps, which mainly can be used as acoustic selective filter that can select what we want depending on our needs, depending on the industrial needs. So this is basically the whole idea of this contribution. Can you move? For the conclusions, this work was really a simple study of a new, if you want, new acoustic structure formed by dual Helmholtz resonator, including defect, which give rise to some characteristics regarding the filter of sounds. Also, the existence of defects can give rise to localized modes that are dependent on the geometry of the cavity, the geometry of the whole structure, if you want, and the periodicity as well. And you can also move on to the can you click this? Yeah, this states or this localized mode, as I mentioned before, are dependent on the geometry, depending on the boundary condition of the defective resonators. And can you click? The last conclusion is that also we are playing on the pass bands, which are the region of frequencies where the acoustic waves can be propagated. And by introducing, in fact, by introducing defects, we are able also to play or to reduce sound in this region of frequencies. I will mention as a conclusion that this structure can play the role of acoustic filter, selective filter, as also can be also exploited in the domain of fabrication of the building constructions, and also in the transductors, if you want. And thank you very much. And sorry, by the way, if for the multiple voices. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Maliki. We will have the session for question after the presenter number 4. So we go to the next presenter, Mr. Aditya Firman Ihsan, and I want to inform you that we will have, after the Ms. Eriska Agustin, we will have the question and answer session. Please, Mr. Aditya.
Thank you very much for the time and opportunity. I would like to present a part of result of my research and PhD study. Okay, first, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Aditya Firman Ihsan, and I'm from Mathematical Analysis and Geometry Research Group in ITB. This is my research with my supervisor, Zulfan. Okay, please next. Okay, for the content of my presentation, actually it consists of 5 parts. For the introduction, then I will present analytical and numerical solution of the problem, and then analysis and discussion of the solution itself, and then conclusion. Next, for the introduction, we know that string fabrication is actually a very common problem in mathematics. And actually, it has been studied many times, over decades ago. But if we have an obstacle on one end of the strings, it will give a time-dependent boundary. Then it will change the problem a lot. This problem arises from modeling of music instruments, because some kind of like good guitar, it will have some kind of obstacle at the end of the string. This moving boundary problem. It's also called Stefan proposition. So in mathematics, we need to do approximation to obtain the solution. in this research, perturbation and numerical approach are implemented to study the problem. Next. Now, for the formulation of problem itself, well, imagine strings. Actually, it's a very simple problem. We have a string and it is attached to a fixed end. But the difference is that we have a simple obstacle here on one end, and this simple obstacle will change the problem a lot, because well, now the left end of the strings will move. The attachment point will move back and forth, wrapping the obstacle. So we have gamma theta, gamma that depends on time as the boundary of the problem. So we have what we call moving boundary problem or Stefan problem. And next. So for the first step, this is actually a very common step. We need to scale the problem. So we have all the variables will be non-dimensionless variable. So, well, I won't have too much details here. So next, please. And this is the most important part of solving the Stefan problem. We have to fix the boundary, because the boundary now because we have a moving boundary. So we fix that with using a transformation to a space variable. So we have there x equal new x equal x bar minus gamma bar, which will fix the boundary now from 0 to 1. And actually, we then have a very quite non-linear Fine. This next. Okay, now we define perturbation solution here actually up to order epsilon. So we have two different problems in different order. So now we can solve the problem in a different order separately, and now we can tackle the non-linearity appears in previous problem. Next. So well, I won't go to many details here. So we can solve it piecewise. So we have now the problem, the solution for the order 1 problem, and the next we can solve also the solution for the order epsilon problem. Next. So now we have the solution in the order epsilon problem. So kind of, well, actually it's simple, but it has additional variable of the moving boundary itself, the gamma. Next. Now we also implemented the numerical computation. Actually, we use here a common finite difference scheme, especially the central difference scheme. But because we have two variables that need to be solved simultaneously, the v, the string itself, the wave itself, and the moving boundary, the v and the s. So we need to simulate this simultaneously, and that's why the scheme is actually quite tedious. Next. And now for the analysis, first a simple observation. Here we have to be careful with the parameter we use, because well, we have to make this quite realistic, because well, it arises from real problem. So if we use epsilon too high, then it will become like well, what I illustrate here. So we have to choose epsilon to be very small, because well, if we have a guitar or any musical instrument, we want pick the string with this height, isn't it? So that's why we must be careful on choosing the epsilon, but we will study a various solution, of course. Next. So if we choose, for example, the h itself is the height of the other boundary, and equal epsilon equal 0.01, and b is actually the length of the obstacle equal 0.1, and we have the initial condition if sinusoidal, the sinus pi x, and we have this kind of solution. The moving boundary is like, well, it just go back and forth like a sinusoidal trend. Next. But it has a small jump occurs, but it occurs because, well, initial condition must well, must have a tangential condition at the boundary, so it kind of correcting itself if we have initial condition that fails the problem. Next. Okay, so we introduce another kind of initial condition. We have some kind of similar result, but it has different it starts from positive side. Next. So this is the map. Actually, it looks like a very common wave dynamics. So we can see that even if we have a moving boundary problem, the result is quite the same as the wave equation. Next. If we have a smaller value of 0.001, well, we still have a good result, but and we have without computational default, because in previous study it is said that if we choose epsilon too small, we have problem in computing the numerical solution, because well, it has a kind of very small parameters that will have a rounding problem in computation. Next. Okay, for the conclusion. So Stefan problem for wave equation has been studied here with two different approaches: the numerical solution and the perturbation expansion. The perturbation expansion provides approximate analytical solution, because well we can solve the exact analytical solution actually, and the numerical schema is successfully implemented and give close result to the analytical solution. Well, for the next research, we need more generic Stefan problem for wave equation will be suggested for the future research. Okay, that's all I can present. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask in the question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aditya. Now we go to the next presenter, the third presenter in this session, Mr. Eli Zulkatri. Please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, yours.
Could I use my
You have
own?
7 minutes. Okay. You want to use your
my
directly?
slide. Yeah.
Your slide directly. So
Okay.
yes.
Thank you, sir. Sorry. Okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity, the Honorable, the IGSC committee, and also all the participants in this room. First of all, I would like to introduce my teams. My name is Eli Zulkatri, and my partners are Rusni Samsir and Ahmad Fuad, and my supervisor is Mr. Sabto. This research is my part of my research. We are from the Student of Actuarial Study Program of Bandung Institute Technology. And now we would like to share our research regarding Syariah early retirement using accurate benefit cost. Okay, this is the content that we will present in our research. The first is introduction, and the second is theoretical framework. The third is data, and the fourth is discussion and the result. And the last is conclusion. Why we choose this topic? Because did you know, based on the statistics from the Financial Service Authority in 2020, there are more than 3 million people who have become participants of the Financial Institution Pension Fund or DPLK. This number increased significantly if we compare to the position in 2014, where there were only 2.4 million DPLK participants. And in addition, in 2015 until 2019, OJK showed that 70.8% of workers and 95% of entrepreneurs in Indonesia have an interest in Syariah pension funds. While the level of public knowledge about the pension fund is still low, that is only 27.8% for workers and 28% for employers. This data encourage us to do research about the Syariah pension funds. And also in pension fund program, there are actuarial calculation methods that we need to be considered. One of the methods that we use is correct benefit cost. The number of the factor that can cause early retirement employees is difficult to predict. So we do this the research. This method we will use in the asuransi jasa Indo Syariah. And also the data, the Budi 2008 said that there are 3 reasons why someone makes decision to retire early. Some of these reasons are individual and family reasons, organization reasons, and social reasons. So this is the introductions why we should do the research. And this is the theoretical framework that we use in our research, the pension fund, based on the law of the Republic of Indonesia, number 11, 1992. The pension fund is a legal entity that manages and runs programs that promise pension benefits with the same resources. The Republic of Indonesia, number 10, number 11 of 1992. Also, early retirement is can be interpreted as the right to obtain accelerate retirement benefits and delay retirement benefits and or disability pension benefits according to the context before normal retirement. On other hand, according to Wijayanto, that early retirement is one of the terms of retirement which is seen from the cause, namely normal retirement, accelerated retirement, retirement due to disability, and retirement due to the death. And also this is the, also our theoretical framework, Syariah Principle Early Retirement Program based on the Fatwa MUI. Syariah Principle Program is a pension program that is managed and implemented based on the Syariah principle based on the OJK 2 in 2020. The DVLK that implements the pension program with Syariah principle is DVLK of PT Bank Muamalat Indonesia. Why do we choose Muamalat DVLK? Because DVLK Muamalat is the first DVLK to apply Syariah principle in the management of pension funds. In DVLK Muamalat, there are 3 types of investment package, namely package A, package B, and package C. Here is the fresh return of investment in DVLK Muamalat from April 2020 until January 2021. Okay, this is the modeling that we use before we find the normal cost. We have do some calculations. This is the step. The first is we have find the there are 4 steps that we need to do. Namely, the first we compile a commutation table where there are several actuarial functions that needed here. Namely, we have for probability survival functions, and interest rate, annuity, salary function, and also the benefit functions. From the commutation table, we continue by finding the normal cost and the actual liability using accurate benefit cost. And then from the normal cost that we find, we can estimate the development funds. So the total benefits of participants who retire early are obtained. Okay, this is the data that we use and also the assumption that we use. And this is the example. This is the result and the conclusion. As an example of calculations, the participant normal contribution will be determined until early retirement, age 30 years, with the first basic salary entering is 3.6 million, and the salary increase rate 5%, and in addition, a basic allowance is 600,000 and house allowance is 500,000. And here is the investment package return history data, and also this, here it can be seen that for a working period of 15 years with the first salary is 3,600,000. The normal cost is 169 million, and when it is put in the investment of the PLK Muamalat, the estimate total benefit for package A is 509 million. So if we see package A produce a higher return than other package. And here is a graph of calculation results. We can see that package A and package B are not too much a difference. And here is the calculations of our research. From the calculation result using accurate benefit cost, the total net benefit in investment package A is higher than investment package B and C. This is because the historical data of the return of package A is more stable than other package is more unstable. Okay, this is the nomenclature that we use in our research, and also this is the reference Also, thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Eli Zulkatri. All of the audience, we now go to Ms. Eriska Agustin. This will be the last presenter in this session. Please, you're okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm Eriska Agustin. I'm honored to be able to attend this conference. Okay, I will explain about my research with the title Improvement Activity of Antioxidant Tyrosinase Inhibition and Anti-Inflammatory of Valeria macrocarpa seed extracts in nano-emulsion dosage form in vitro and in vivo studies. Next. Okay, this is the content of this PPT. First, I will introduce what introduction and research purposes, research framework, and material methods. After that, result and discussion, and after that, conclusion. Next. Mahkota Dewa is the medicinal plant originating from Indonesia and Malaysia. This plant is one of the popular plants in Indonesia. The main part of this plant are usually used as a medicine, include the flesh, leaves, and seeds. Each part of Mahkota Dewa has the different activity. Several previous studies regarding the activity test of Mahkota Dewa seed extracts still have low pharmacological activity. Next. This is the previous studies about antioxidant activities, anti-inflammatory activities, and tyrosinase inhibition activity. From this research before, data on tyrosinase inhibition using tyrosinase enzyme doesn't yet exist in Mahkota Dewa seeds, but for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activities, the seed extract of Mahkota Dewa has a low activity. Next. Okay. One of the main ingredients in seed extract of Mahkota Dewa is the flavonoid, where the flavonoids are one of the secondary metabolites. Besides having polar properties, there are also non-polar compounds, which will affect the bioavailability of drugs in the body. To overcome this problem, the development of new drug delivery system that can increase the solubility of non-polar flavonoid compound is nano-emulsion, with the particle size less than 100 nanometers. Next. The purpose of this study, improvement nano-emulsion preparation and improvement pharmacology activities. Next. This is the framework of this research. First, preparation of Mahkota Dewa seed extract made by maceration methods using ethyl acetate solvent for 3 days. After that, determination of total flavonoid and total phenolic content from extract PMD or Mahkota Dewa seed. After that, production of nano-emulsion BMD, preparation and evaluation and characterization of nano-emulsion. After that, pharmacology activities testing from extract and nano-emulsion BMD. Next. The result and discussion. First, preparation of Mahkota Dewa seed extract. The maceration method was chosen because the processing technique is simple and can be used to extract thermolabile compounds and the repetition of change of solvent and to prevent saturation in extract processing. The yield of the extract obtained was 35.097%, and the form of the extract is oil. That's why I use the new drug system is use nano-emulsion. Next. Okay. Yeah. Determination of total flavonoid content and total phenolic content. The result of testing the total flavonoid content in the extract of Mahkota Dewa seed was 55.89 milligrams quercetin equivalent per gram of the extract sample, and the result of testing to total phenolic content was 35 milligram gallic acid extract per gram of the extract sample. Next. Okay, this is the production of nano-emulsion preparation. I use a magnetic stirrer for 90 minutes to homogenize the mixture, and the bed sonication for 45 minutes to reduce the particle size with the formula. First, I use oleic acid 1% and extract BMD 3% as oil. After that, I use cream for RH 40, 12% as surfactant, and PAG 4,002% as co-surfactant. This is the picture of the nano emulsion BMD preparation F7 containing 1% oleic acid and F8 with acid. And this is the result of the particle size and polydispersity index and potential beta. Next. Okay, this is the result of particle morphology analysis with using PEM. Show that the nano emulsion BMD has a spherical shape. This is I use the oil globule in the prepared nano emulsion BMD preparation was distributed fairly evenly and uniform. Next. Okay, this is the pharmacology activities testing. I use in vitro and in vivo. The in vitro, I use antioxidant activity testing, pyrosinase inhibition activity testing, and anti-inflammatory activity testing. From three activity, to continue the study, I use in vivo for anti-inflammatory activities. Testing using Melvista rats induced by 1% carrageenan. Next. Okay, this is the result of the activity. First, tyrosinase activity. The increased activity of nanoemulsive preparation of tyrosinase could be increased for the decrease for the IC50 value and for the result of antioxidant activity. Also for the IC50 value decrease for the nanoemulsion BMD for the formula F7. Next. For the activity anti-inflammatory activity test in vitro or in vivo, there is for the IC50 the decrease of the IC50 value. After that, I continue the study with in vivo test. There is from the data calculation of the total percent inhibition of each preparation. Nanoemulsion BMD at dose 1 gram per kilogram body weight had the highest total percent inhibition, and there was a significant differences in the statistical test compared with extract BMD with the same dose. Next. Okay, the conclusion for this research is the mahkota dewasit extract can be formulated in the nanoemulsion dosage form and can contribute to increase several pharmacology activities in vitro, antioxidant activity, tyrosinase inhibition, and anti-inflammatory activity in vitro and in vivo. Thank you so much for the time. I will return to moderator.
Thank you very much. For the 4 presenters, we give applause for all presenters in this session. Now I open the question and answer. Some of you interested in some topics, please open your mic and deliver your question. Is there any from the audience?
I have one question for Ms. Eriska.
Oh, yes, please.
Yes. Thank you for your presentation. It's a very interesting study. I'm just wondering, because you did such a good job for this research, but I'm wondering if you have, let's say you have unlimited budget for your research, what will you do next to further develop this based on the results of your study?
Okay, thank you. I have to answer right now or?
Yes, directly.
Okay. Okay. For the next study, if I have unlimited budget, maybe I will continue the study in vitro, because the in vivo in vivo study. I will continue the study for another method for in vivo, so I can make sure that this activity of anti-inflammatory activity has a good value for the IC50. Not only IC50, but also maybe I use another method, maybe for the chokes, or using COM, or another induced, like I use carrageenan. Maybe I can use another induced for the male Wistar ratnya. Okay, after that maybe I use another method, maybe to make sure that not only by only one method, I think.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay, the next one maybe is Annie. All right, I would like to ask Mr. El Malki for your interesting presentation. Do you have any size or dimension of your resonator?
Yes, of course, sir. If it's in order of some centimeters, like the cavity, exactly 5 centimeters. The neck, the neck of the resonator is like 3 centimeters. So it's like this size, if you want.
Okay.
Yes. The main wave guide is more bigger. It's like 6. It's a rectangular 6 multiple 5 6.
Yes. Is that okay? It depends on the frequencies range. No.
Yes, exactly. We are here dealing with the low frequencies, so we are working mainly with, in like 3 until 1000 hertz is enough for this kind of study, since the geometry are bigger, smaller than the wavelength. So this is basically we are dealing with low frequencies. However, if we are dealing with small, like the geometry of particles, we need high frequencies, in which need a lot of materials, you know. But at least with low frequencies, we can use just microphones, transductors to study the frequencies and all that.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone?
Thank you.
Okay,
I have one simple question. Is that okay, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to ask Mr. Zulkatri. This is very interesting presentation as well. This is not my field actually, but I'm just wondering because you find the previous study found that it's not related with your study, but I'm wondering if you know the answer. You say that a lot of people interested in using this Sharia for early retirement, but the knowledge is not balanced with the interest. What do you think that we need to or the stakeholders need to do to educate the society about this?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zulfan, for the question. Yes, from the data of OJK, so that the people really interested in Sharia pension funds, but the knowledge of the people about the pension Sharia still low. So maybe my suggestions to stockholder or some people, we can. This is my research. It's also my research is one of the way to promote what is the Sharia pension fund. So the other people will know about the pension funds, Sharia pension funds, more now about the pension funds Sharia, and also I think maybe now the DPLK still low to promote about the Syariah pension funds. So next maybe DPLK must more encourage, more promote more promote the method and also this pension funds. Thank you. Yes.
Thanks for your answer.
I would like to ask Mr. Aditya for a short question. I'm interested in your scaling. Is there any limitation of L? You use a notation L, large L. Is there any limitation?
Wait, L. Oh, L has the length of the string itself.
Yes.
For us, I look at this problem. I think there is no restriction at all. As long as we assume here that the length of the string actually quite larger enough than the height of the string itself, because we use this Bayesian expansion. We have to make sure the scale of the displacement of the string is very small. That's why we the parameter epsilon here appears.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have next session 1.2, lead by my colleague Bapak Zulfan. So I end my session now. Thank you for all of you, and we give applause for all of us. Thank you very much for your presentation. And the next, Mr. Zulfan, please on your session. Thank you.
Very much, Dr. Budi, for delivering the first session. So now we are entering the second session for this room 1. And I would like to invite the first speaker, Ms. Jennifer Priscilla Suryajaya, who will present her study entitled Loss Insurance Premium for Online Business with Delivery Risk Process and Negative Review from Buyer. Yeah, Jennifer, I think you already shared the screen, and you have 7 minutes for the presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you for the time and opportunity. Good morning to Sir Budi Dermawan and Sir Zulfan Zazuli and all participants. My name is Jennifer, and today I'm going to present my research about loss insurance premium for online business with delivery risk process and negative review from buyer. Next. For this presentation, I'm going to divide into 4 sections. And next, for the first one is introduction. So the number of internet usage has been increasing significantly since 1990s. Development of the internet provides these benefits like time efficiency, avoiding crowds. Actually, it has proven to be really helpful for our last 2 years condition with pandemic. And also online business is also available in 24 hours. These benefits can be a motivation for people to migrate from offline to online business. However, online business also have its own problems. The increasing number of online business and e-commerce also increase the volume of delivery process. And it could complicate the implementation process because there are some unpredictable events such as natural disasters, transportation accident, and another delivery risk that can cause delays and maybe another significant losses for the seller. But this unexpected event and disruptions in the delivery process can be anticipated with the financial protection by insurance. But there must be a premium paid in exchange for the allocation of this risk. And in this study, the amount of seller's loss will be calculated due to the possibility of risk in the delivery process and buyer's negative review. By knowing the amount of the loss, the insurers can calculate the appropriate premium to bear the risk allocation. Next. So firstly, next, please. So firstly, we should know about the online business process. The very first one, there should be an item ordered. And after the seller receives the order, they will send it to the buyer address. And last, buyer can give a review as a representation of their level of satisfaction. But in the delivery process, there are 4 risks that may occur. The first one is lost item, second one is damaged item, wrong delivery address, and combination between damaged item and wrong delivery address with its cost. And PC stands for production cost for one item. Meanwhile, for the DC means delivery cost for one item. Next. For delivery loss, we can calculate for each risk by multiplying the risk cost for one item with the number of non-ideal items for every risk. For example, for the loss item risk, we can multiply the cost of this risk, which is product cost plus delivery cost, with the number of lost items. But for the number of non-ideal items, we can know the value by using multinomial distribution. So variable R means the number of items shipped in 1 month. And for P1 until P4 is the probability of each risk. Meanwhile, for the P0 is the probability if there is no risk occurs. And we can have the total delivery loss by adding all of the delivery risk loss. Moreover, the number of non-ideal items due to the delivery risk also affects the increase of storage costs. Storage costs are costs that are detrimental to the seller as a result of some goods that have to be held first. The cost is carrying cost percentage times with product cost and when key divided by 2, with key is the number of goods that have to be held. And the key value will also be affected by the number of negative reviews, and this relationship will be indicated by the alpha. For CP is the total compensation as a form of seller's responsibility to the risk that happened to buyer. After we calculate the seller's loss, we are going to determine the insurance premium model by using expected utility function as in equation 7. And we're going to choose to use logarithmic utility functions like in equation 6 that tends to be used more for seller with a risk-averse profile. And finally, we can get the premium model as in equation 8, where W is the seller's wealth, which is the capital plus seller's loss, if all the goods sent subject to the delivery risk. And next, I also made a table about the variables that I use and its definition. Next, for the result and analysis, for the simulation of the equation model that has been made before, these are the initial value that I choose, the delivery cost for each services for the first to the third rank. And I'm going to use the number of goods sent is 30 units per month. So the value for R is 30 and the percentage of the carrying cost is 20%. And I also set some variation for the range of probability values for each delivery risk that can be seen on the table in the middle of the slide. And also another 3 scenarios with and without compensation and presentation of the compensation and the alpha scenarios. And this simulation will be carried out for 10,000 simulations for net premiums within 1 month for each rating. Next. And based on the scenarios, here are the results for each rank in the middle table. The worst are the delivery risk surface rating, so the higher the net premium value. And its cost, the opportunity for delivery risk and the number of negative reviews is also getting bigger. Therefore, the seller's loss that will be allocated to the insurance company is also getting bigger. And the net insurance premium that must be paid by the seller as an allocation of the risk of the loss will also be greater. And next. Meanwhile, for the variation in the values of alpha and the image rating, the net premium value will decrease from condition number 1 to number 3. This condition follows changes in the value of D, which is also decreasing, while the value of alpha is just the opposite. It can be concluded the seller's loss will be more influenced by the percentage value of D compared to the alpha, which means that the higher the compensation given by the seller to the buyer, the higher the costs that have to be borne by the seller. And as a result, the seller's loss increases and the value of the premium to be paid also increases. Next, and here are my conclusion for this research. So there are for conclusion. Next. Okay, thank you for your time and attention. I will return to Sir Zulfan. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your interesting research. I'm sure this is very related with us, especially during these pandemic times. Okay, then without further ado, I will invite the second speaker for the second session, Mr. Fawaz Fakhrul Razi Hadiputra. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. Yes, I see our screen as well. So you have 7 minutes to give us your talk. The floor is yours.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. My name is Fawaz Fakhrul Razi Hadiputra, and here I'm going to give you a presentation about our work for the results on pH supermagic trees. This is a joint work with lecturers from UIN Jakarta. Next, please. Okay, we straight into the definition. First, we let graph G be simple, finite, and undirected. Excuse me, there should be a graph here. A picture. Okay. So, for example, we have this. We have vertices like this and edges. So we can see graph as a vertices that is connected by edges somehow. And for this example, we have this. This is a path of 3 vertices, and like this. And okay, so we have a bijective map F. So if we labels the vertices and the edges with numbers, integers from 1 to the numbers of vertices and edges, we have F is H-magic labeling if the graph G admits edge covering. So for example, in this graph here, every edges in this graph is contained in at least one subgraph of P3. Like that. And that's the first requirement of H-magic labeling. And the second one, if there exists an integer m such that all the sum of weights is constant, is equal. Please next, so that we can see the sample here. Okay, so here in the figure of the left, we can see if we pick a P3 subgraph like this or this one, if we sum all the labels, we will have a same weight. For example, in this one is 43. So it is a graph P3 magic with a weight of 43. And in addition, if we have all the labels of the vertices is smaller than the edges, we have, we call this as a P3 supermagic instead. So in some applications of this graph labeling can be seen in cryptography, but in this study, we only discuss about the theoretical aspects. Okay, so next please. So another definition. So here we have the left one is amalgamation. So we have a graph with one edges, K2, and C3, which forms a triangle, and C4, which forms a square like this. We attach them to one identical vertex, and we call this as amalgamation of K2, C3, and C4. Now, for the special case, we have, if suppose a tree graph which admits pH covering such that all the subgraph pH in the graph contains identical vertex. So, for example, in this the right one, if we take P4 subgraph in the graph, we can see that every subgraph will contain this vertex. So every subgraph contains identical vertex, and we call this graph as grass graphs. Okay, please next. Next, please. Okay, so this is the work which has been done before by other people. So a path Pn, so a graph that forms a path which length of n is pH supermagic for H2 to n. This is the example. So P8 is P3 supermagic. Next. And here we also have any graph that belongs to RBH is pH supermagic. So we have this example before, which is the graph that is supposed to be admits P4 covering. So if we take all the P4 here, the sum will be equal. Okay, let's continue. Now we go to the main result. The proofs for this lemma and theorems are omitted. We start with this lemma. Well, it's kind of complicated, but to be simple, if the labeling meets certain conditions, we can extend the labeling to other graphs. And this lemma is directly applied to all upcoming results. Please next. Now, for one example, suppose we have this yellow graph. This is a grass graph, which of course, in this example admits P4 covering. So if you attach two more paths, which is pH plus 1 in both length, we will have this graph is pH supermagic. So if we pick every P4 graph in this graph, we will have the weight equal. Next. Now, similar with the previous one, if we can do it for 2 paths, we can also do it for 3. Similarly, we can see this, the yellow one, the gray graph, and the red one are the 3 attached ones. Next. Well, previously, the path has the same length, but this one, the one has pH plus 1 and the other one is pH plus 2. Yeah. But the proof is kind of different, so we need to separate it. Okay, please next. Last but not least, there are also 2 more theorems, but we omit the figure because I think it's kind of complicated. So, but in this one, we have the modified paths. And this one where we consider 2 amalgamations in one graph. Okay, next. And I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Sorry, sir, I think you still mute.
I'm so sorry for that. Thank you very much, Fawas, for providing us on its updates results on the pH for magic trees. Then, yeah, I would like to invite our third speaker for this session, Ms. Anissa Susilawati, which will provide us with the results of her study in silico study on reverse transcriptase receptor for antivirus HIV candidate from secondary metabolite Monascus SP.
I'm sorry, sir, but Miss Anissa can't attend this, so
okay,
we just forward it to the next.
Oh yeah, just realized I didn't. Yeah, I don't see her in the participants. Then we'll move to our next speaker, our last speaker actually, Miss Prihantini Titin. I think she's
yes, sir.
Here. Perfect. Yes, which will provide the results of her study entitled Analysis of Stochastic Model and Life Insurance Premiums Allocation for Insurance Development in Indonesia. Without further ado, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Everyone can see my share screen. Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the time. In here, I'm Prihantini from Department of Mathematics. I will present about. Sorry.
Are you there, Ms. Prihantini? I couldn't hear your voice.
Check.
Yes, it's better now.
Okay. In here, I want to present about analysis of stochastic model and life insurance allocation in Indonesia. First, in here our content, first introduction, and then second is 3 steps of proposed insurance, and then third is premium for Indonesian insurance, and the last is conclusion. For introduction, Indonesia is developing country, has many disasters and with very high rates. On geographic location, Indonesia is traversed by a ring of fire, which cause earthquakes in certain area of frequency, also a city in course. On data, the normal death rate of Indonesia is around 7 people per 1,000 people each year. It means that if the total population in Indonesia is 200, estimate that there will 2,000 people die every year. And then based on above, life insurance is one of the financial instruments that able to reduce the risk of death and help victims and their family. The main principle of life insurance is to collect funds in the form of premiums from participants, which are then used to overcome that loss that experienced by participants were caused by accident or. However, for life insurance, in the number of users in Indonesia has only reached 11.8% of population in Indonesia. The reason for choosing an insurance topic because insurance is very important to support participant finance. Another topic is because it's needed more than the others, so that it will be easier to implement strategies. In this paper is to calculate the model, especially for life insurance. Next. There is three stakes in here for the flow in the first stake is of the purpose insurance development in Indonesia is human resource input, and then insurance companies, and then back to Indonesian society. Based on data from Indonesian Actuaries Association, the number of actuaries in Indonesia is 4,000 people. Several colleagues in Indonesia in the recent years are increasingly preparing mathematics or statistics graduate to become actuaries, but have not the target. Besides that, the quality of actuaries need to be improved by carrying out various intensive studies. One of the problems that often arise in actuarial is determining the premium value and managing risks. A mathematical modeling that will be discussed is to allocate funds for insurance companies, especially life insurance companies. And then the second stage, in the second stage of insurance developed in Indonesia is government, and then move to insurance company and back to Indonesian society, and then back to government again. So far, insurance is less attractive to the public because premium tend to be higher. A good insurance company should let the market and segment the market, so every should be offered according to their income. If their income is small, the premium paid is small too. The role of the government in this stage is to provide subsidies to low-income people, so that the sum insured when he dies fee will be greater than expected, so that the behind living needs at the less for the next few years. Other subsidies can also be made between the upper middle class and the lower middle class. Some of the premium paid by middle or class can be used to help the middle to lower class too, if needed. So the insurance can dominate the middle to lower class. And then the last stage in here, the third stage, the flow in the third stage of purpose insurance developed in Indonesia. First, from investor, and then move to insurance companies and back to Indonesian society too. After successfully carrying out to the second stage, how the life insurance market in Indonesia will have a significant increase in the number of participants compared to the current number of participants. The increasing number of participants investors to invest their funds in insurance companies. In addition, insurance companies are attractive to investors because the Indonesia pyramid shape demographic where the number of productive age is more than the number of non-productive age. So from that, Indonesia has the potential to develop rapidly in the future because it has so many human research compared to the developed countries, which in fact already like many such as Japan and then South Korea. So life insurance companies in Indonesia can develop rapidly too as the time goes to be utilizing their own research and attracting investors. So in addition, the existence of advertisement regarding life insurance also necessary to attract consumers and can from the public mindset that insurance is a basic and important because of the benefit is provided. This is our model, premium for Indonesian insurance. Life insurance in Indonesia allocated for administrative costs, participant saving and special saving, same for every stage, period of coverage, and situation. It will be what the current insurance policy where this model and insurance period are very independent. So suppose customer is registered in age of X years, the coverage period of K years, based on the insurance business process, premium paid is used to administrative costs and then saving and special saving. So suppose the theta percent is administrative cost and then omega customer saving, and then 100 minus omega percent is special saving. So from this description, it can be interpreted if participant premium or pay, then pay times theta percent is an administrative fee, and then pay times omega percent is customer saving, and then remaining pay times 100 minus theta minus omega percent is for special saving. So suppose that the rate of return obtained the customer in T year is RT, and then it means that one of money at the beginning of the year will be 1 plus RT and at the end of year the year. So the profit earned by customer each year adjust to the performance of company where the insurance company invests to, so that it is 1 plus RT can be assumed with the formula. So if customer dies at the age of X plus T year, then the saving at the end of the year is by this equation. So the will be unpaid premium is K minus T minus 1 payment. So the total claims obtained and at the end of the year of from the customer is by the formula below. And then if customer dies at the age of X plus T year, the saving at the end of the year is AK, with AK is based on the formula. And then thus the present value of claim earned by customer can be calculated with this formula too. Then the premium value deposit by customer at this time can be calculated with 1 plus sum of this formula. So, however, only 100 minus theta percent is premium in invested. So, that in order to be optimum, the present value of the premium invested must be same as the present value of the claim received by customer. Can we obtain the following equation, and then from the equation is formed the portion of claims with the deposit into customer account can be calculated with omega percent, and then with T equals with this formula, and then Q is equals this formula. So because the value of R1 and RK is unknown, we will open a possibility about the value of RT. The value of omega will converge toward a value, and then the estimate of omega. So this is our conclusion.
Hello, Ms. Prihantini. Are you there? Can you hear me? Ah, we lost connection with her.
Yes, it looks like we lost connection.
Okay. Well, the time is up as well. So I'm so sorry for interrupting your presentation, but yeah, since the time is up, yeah, we will have to end your presentation. And thank you very much for delivering your presentations. Then I think we already have all of the speakers on our second session presented their studies. Now we are entering the Q&A session. Yes, I would like to provide this opportunity to the audiences. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand, put it in the column chat, or just speak directly with your speaker. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Zulfan. I would like to ask a question to Mr. Fawaz. It is very, many formulas in on your presentation slides. So I would like to know, it's a rather elementary, how long you can put the nodes and the age, how long you can expand your graphs?
I see. Okay. Yes. So we can choose n as integer. So it's actually it can be as long as we want. It can be complicated as we want. But if we talk about the efficiency, maybe we don't. Maybe we'll find the efficient number of n, maybe like that. Yeah.
So is it possible to loop the nodes?
Oh,
like
so
sphere, for example.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. If we talk about general graph, yeah, we can construct a graph that forms a circle. It's called cycle. And there are many other forms of graphs, but in my study, we specifically study the trees that does not contain any cycles.
Okay.
Etc. like that. We have discussed in
Thank you.
my session. You're welcome.
Okay. Is there any questions for other speakers? Not yet. Then I think I have one question for Ms. Jennifer. This is a very interesting presentation, at least for me, this is not my discipline as well. So maybe I have just one general question. So you're trying to analyze the delivery risk process and the negative review from buyer. So which one has the bigger impact for the loss of insurance premium? Is it from the delivery risk process or from the negative review for the buyer, in your opinion?
Thank you, sir, for your question. For my opinion, actually, the delivery risk process is influenced more to the net premium because the negative reviews is only an additional loss for the sellers, but for the main loss is comes from the delivery risk.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm just wondering. Is there any suggestions for that the insurance company can do to reduce the risk of the delivery process?
Okay. I think from my scenarios and simulations, there are 3 ranking for the delivery services. So that can be the implementation. So for online business that want to reduce the loss, they can use the first rank of the delivery services.
Thank you very much for your clear answer. And yeah, is there still any questions for the speaker? Unfortunately.
May I?
Yes, sure. Sure, Dr. Budi, please.
Thank you. This is for Miss Jennifer and Miss Prihantini as well. But I was in my mind that is there improvement in your formula, for example, to use, for example, in distribution or some kind of, you introduce something in your formula, it is a standard one, or you may comment on that, please.
For my formula, actually it's the general formula, and it can be updated according to other research needs.
Oh, so you may add something in your formula, for example, some series or any kind of function rather than the standard one.
Yeah. Actually, I just assumed that the number of non-ideal item is a discrete. So then I chose the multinomial distribution.
Okay. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for all of the speaker and also for the audience as well. Before I forget, I share a link for the list of attendee in the chat box. So please visit that link and also put your name in the list of attendee as well. And yes, I think this is the end of the presentation, the oral presentation session for the room 1. But before closing this session, I would like to invite everyone here to get a picture together. I think, wait a second. Someone will help us taking the picture.
Yes.
Everyone, yeah.
I will
please.
help to take the picture for us. Okay, please, every participant, you just turn your camera on. I wait for 10 seconds. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you, Mr. Zazuli.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taufik. I would like to remind you that there will be another keynote speaker on 1 p.m. on the main room. So on behalf of the committee, I would like to invite you to come to that session as well. And then, yeah, to conclude, thank you very much for your presentations. Although this is, personally, this is not my discipline, but I think this is a very interesting studies presented here. And I think Dr. Budi also think the same way. Yes, thank you very much for sharing your research results with us. And yeah, there will be an announcement at the end of the conference, so please stay tuned. Thank you very much and have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, you may leave the Zoom.